Chapter 14 Energy generation in mitochondria and chloroplasts. Not responsible for 1. Detailed mechanism of their P's reaction center, figure 1433. 2. Photosynthesis in bacteria, pages 480 to 483. View the virtual cell animations for E-transport, ATP synthase, photosynthesis. Questions in this chapter you should be able to answer. Chapter 14, 1 to 4, 6 to 12, 14 to 23. Energy generation. A quick review. How is energy transferred to ATP? Substrate level phosphorylation. Bi comes from a substrate molecule. Chemiosmotic phosphorylation. ATP synthesis is coupled to NAD oxidation. Energy generation. How is oxidation of NAD coupled to ATP synthesis? E-transport-H plus pumping-ATP synthase, which creates a proton motive force through a H plus electrochemical gradient. Energy generation. What are consequences of DNP and nigericin on the proton gradient? What are the molecular components of the E-transport system? E-transport. Site BC1. Question 14 to 3, p. 457. What are consequences of DNP and nigericin on the proton gradient? Energy generation. Why do E-transport proteins bind D? Iron-sulfur groups. Hem groups of cytochromes. Why do electrons pass between E-transport proteins? Iron-sulfur groups. Lower redox potential equals lower affinity for E. Hem groups. Higher redox potential equals higher affinity. Energy generation. JMOL ATP synthase model. What is the mechanism the ATP synthase? ATP synthase can also function as an ATP assay. JMOL ATP synthase model. ATP synthase. Energy generation. What is the evidence that ATP synthesis is driven by chemiosmosis? Reconstituted systems. Questions. A. For system B to function, what metabolites and pH conditions must exist outside and inside the vesicles? B. Suppose that system B were constituted inside out. Diagram this scenario and explain why ATP synthesis would not occur. C. How could system B be made to function as an ATP assay? Energy generation. Energy capture during photosynthesis. What is the structure of chloroplasts? What are the two stages of Ps? Explain why the light-independent reactions only occur in the presence of light. Energy generation. How is energy captured by chlorophyll? Antenna, light harvesting, complex. Reaction center SMHL. Porphyrin ring. Energy generation. What does the Z scheme show? CI reaction center. Donate C to platoquinone. Replaces with E from H2O. What does the Z scheme show? Energy generation. How is ATP and NAD generated during the LITO reactions? Z scheme. P680 and P700 Rx centers. Coupling to chemiosmosis. NAD production. Membrane architecture. Question 14 to 10 p. 477. Chloroplasts do not have an ATP transporter. How then do plant cells obtain ATP to carry out other metabolic processes? PSE transport. Energy generation.